Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to another Crispy Takes. Now, before we get going on the take of this video, man, I gotta let you guys know that hopefully, ideally, I will have my Xbox Series X available tomorrow or maybe today when you're watching this video. And yeah, obviously, I really do enjoy doing these Crispy Takes, but just want to let you guys know that rebuilds and all that stuff is coming back very, very soon, assuming Best Buy does not screw up. Although they did keep me on hold for like 2 or 3 hours until the store closed, and then they hung up on me. So, not feeling too great about that, man. But yes, for today's take, we are going to be talking about Kyle Kuzma, who just went on the record to say that he wants a large extension from the Los Angeles Lakers. I guess to put into actual words, he wants a sizable deal, man. So, yes, Kyle Kuzma, sizable deal. He obviously has 1 year left on his contract. I believe it's still his rookie deal. It's worth about $3 million. Now, Kyle Kuzma is a very interesting character, right? I will say, I'm actually kind of a fan of his game. I don't think Kyle Kuzma is as bad as people think at times. Now, I will say, after his rookie season, even his second season in the NBA, there was a lot of talks about this kid actually become like an all-star or a superstar. And I think in hindsight, to look at things, you know, he was the guy that was kind of like the ugly duckling when it came to the Pelicans trade. He was the odd man out. Obviously, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, you know, those guys, and plus a ton of draft picks were traded in exchange for Anthony Davis, which I think was actually the right choice because Ingram was just kind of like ready to blossom. I don't think Kuzma would have had exactly the same exact of impact on the Pelicans as Brandon Ingram did. So the Pelicans definitely made the right choice. And Kuzma, the way he plays, you know, the two previous seasons where he was like starting and stuff like that, one of them playing with LeBron, one without, obviously the teams weren't very good. So, I mean, I think it's a case where Kuzma is somebody that's like a really, really good third or fourth option, but you definitely don't want him as a top 2 option on your team. It's really not going to lead to team success, man. So, yeah, I guess just to actually look at his numbers too, because people were saying like, yeah, Kuzma kind of fell off and stuff. He just wasn't really like fitting with like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, which I think is completely false. You know, I think at times, you know, having Anthony Davis at that 4 spot with Kuzma at the 3 and LeBron James around point guard, like that can be a very strong lineup to run at times, just due to, you know, Kyle Kuzma's ability to put the ball in the basket. Now, efficiency-wise, I mean, his three-point shot was not really good this season. It was really only good his rookie season, if we're being honest, man. He's always taken about 5 to 6 attempts over his three-season NBA career. But to start his rookie season, he was at like 37%, and then he went down to like 30. He was back to 32 this season, about 4 to 5 attempts per game. So yeah, obviously not great numbers, but he can score in different ways. So I do think, you know, in time that will still kind of continue to work itself out. It would be nice if we could get back to that 36% three-point shooting number, because then, you know, ideally with his height and everything, it would be nice if he could be like a catch-and-shoot wing player, like a Paul George or somebody like that, you know. I know obviously Paul George, you can get the ball in his hands to like make things happen, but what makes Paul George so great is catch-and-shoot ability. And, you know, Kyle Kuzma with his height ability to get his shot up over others would be a great asset for this Lakers team. And actually looking at his per 36 numbers, because last year, he was at about 19 points per game. That was phenomenal, right? You know, 6 rebounds. Those are really good numbers. Few assists out there. And then you see the numbers this season due to being on the bench and stuff, maybe not really fitting in, if you believe that. You know, you would look at his numbers going down. But his per 36 numbers were actually just as good as his rookie season, man. He was at, per 36-wise, 18 points, 6 rebounds per game. Like, he was still doing exactly what he was doing as a starter, except doing it in a lesser role off the bench. So I do believe that's completely fine, man. So what exactly type of money, you know, let's say that you're the owner of the Lakers and you hear that Kyle Kuzma wants a sizable contract. Well, what exactly are you looking at? Well, he was the 3rd leading scorer on the team, behind obviously LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So I think that's something to consider. For what it's worth, I mean, I think about it like this. For now, Kuzma off the bench, I'm completely cool with that. LeBron James is what, like 35, 36 years of age. Let's say he has, let's just throw a number out there. Let's say he has 3 more seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers, okay? 3 more seasons, he retires. In the meantime, you know, you sign Kyle Kuzma maybe to a 4-year deal. So you have those 3 seasons where Kyle Kuzma is going to be coming off the bench, which they just proved due to winning a championship that they can definitely win basketball that way. That's okay. And I feel like that's okay with them to learn behind, you know, really 2 of the greatest players of all time in Anthony Davis and LeBron James for their own respective reasons out there. I still feel like that will be good for him, having that type of leadership out there, right? But then eventually LeBron James is going to retire. You know, I mean, this guy looks like he can play till he's about 90, but at this point, it's like LeBron James will eventually retire from basketball. I think it's going to be kind of similar to Michael Jordan, where he's going to be good till his last season, and then he's just going to be like, okay, yep, this is probably it. So let's say that's 3 seasons from now. You would still have Kyle Kuzma 1 year left on his contract, and you instantly have your starting small forward that's going to be in his absolute prime at the age of 27, that's been learning behind LeBron James for 4 or 5 seasons. That is absolutely fantastic if you ask me. I would definitely sign up for that, man. And it's not like the Lakers. Well, this is where it gets interesting with the Lakers because, you know, outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis paying those guys, they don't really have a lot of contracts due to, like, anybody else. Their books are pretty much clear, right? Because they're obviously want to make some moves via free agency and stuff like that. But, yeah, for the most part, their long-term contracts are just non-existent. So then it kind of gets down to, like, negotiation because you don't want to, like, lock yourself into too much money with Kyle Kuzma. You know, like you're definitely not giving him, like, near max contract money. You could just, you know, if Kuzma wants that, bam, get him off the team, right? But let's say, I would say maybe, like, a 4-year deal. Let's throw maybe, like, $14-15 million a season. I feel like that's kind of right in between where, you know, people might be like, okay, well, that might be a little bit too much, and others might be like, okay, I mean, I guess I would be willing to give him that deal. That feels about right. About $15 million a season for 4 years, $60 million, bada bing, bada boom. Gives him time to learn behind LeBron even more. He has that 1 season, assuming LeBron retires in 3 seasons, assuming he stays with the Lakers for that long. You know, really, and then he gets that season where he gets to go out there as a starter. He can see what he's worth in a contract year. I think that's kind of a win-win for both sides, but that still doesn't hurt them enough financially where they can't go out there and sign a max contract player. You know, eventually maybe like a Bradley Beal or try to get somebody like that. So I really like the idea of that for Kyle Kuzma. Now, let's say they just can't come to terms with things. Well, then all of a sudden you're probably looking at some sort of sign and trade. Like I said, Kuzma is a great scorer, man. 3-point shot's not great, but he's more than just a 3-point shot. I really like his ability to kind of, I don't know, man, he kind of has like that way to like slash to the basket, but it's kind of like a finessey way where it's like he's not really like posting up, but some of the moves he can make out there, it's like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain. It's kind of interesting. I think he has pretty good footwork for a young guy out there. So yeah, I think though that at that point you probably look to trade for some veterans to kind of help win now and kind of go all in on that LeBron James window. One big trade we've been kind of hearing about is the idea of, you know, Kyle Kuzma over to the Detroit Pistons for like Derrick Rose. Now, me as a Piston fan, I would actually be all for that. I mean, I'll give Kyle Kuzma, you know, $15 million a season or whatever it is, or even like, I mean, we don't really get a lot of free agents here, so it's not like we have big time choices. So maybe even like $20 million, I'll be willing to go up with that because right now we have Tony Snell at small forward. So I mean, Kyle Kuzma would be a big improvement right there. Playing with Sekou Demboya, Luke Kennard, whoever we get in the draft, that would be fantastic if you ask me. It would be something at least, right? Plus he's from Flint, Michigan, which is kind of cool. So, well, let's take JaVale McGee. He's also from Flint. And Devin Booker. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. But no, man. So then, of course, you know, the Lakers would get Derrick Rose, who, ironically enough, his like worst season that comes to mind was actually when he played with LeBron James on the Cavaliers. I don't know if that was due to a little bit of like injury or whatnot, or just like poor fit. The way I like Derrick Rose on the team is just, you know, playing 30 minutes off the bench. Maybe like when LeBron James is resting and stuff like that. I mean, obviously they would have to play together and stuff like that too to make that work. But, you know, like that's kind of what I like the idea for Derrick Rose. But outside of that, man, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that I think would give up something for Kyle Kuzma. Would definitely be willing to pay for him out there. Not to mention, you know, you look beyond the scoring, you look beyond really being pretty good player for his age and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't really see the superstar or all-star factor anymore. I kind of see him being more like a Kelly Oubre, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, we all know Kelly Oubre's not making the all-star team, but we all recognize that Oubre can get you like 18 and 20 points per game, and people are going to look at it and be like, you know what, man? That's one solid basketball player right there. And you got to be okay with that. But, you know, Kyle Kuzma obviously does have the championship ring. Now there's experience that comes with that. He is a little bit of a diva, so you got to kind of look out for that aspect of him. But beyond that, man, I still think Kuzma has something, you know, really to prove out there individually. I think him having that ring now is going to take some pressure off his back, because that's just going to go without saying, you know, with any NBA player out there. I don't think anybody was looking at Kuzma and being like, oh my God, like he has to get us a ring right now. Like, you know, I mean, that's just any player that once they have that ring, you can kind of focus on other aspects out there because you're like, okay, man, we're good to go. So what do you guys all think? What do you think the Lakers need to do when it comes to Kyle Kuzma? Do you just kind of, you know, give him his money? Do you think he's not really worth it? Do you feel like what he brings to the team you can find at a cheaper price, maybe with some veterans, maybe you get some trade pieces for them. Once again, the Derrick Rose trade is nice just because it is a 1-year contract. It's only about $7 million, so you have that going for you. You guys let me know, man. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.